Hello and welcome. My name is Stephen Hart. I am the Director of Content here at the SANS Institute. And we're coming to you live today across our SANS channels on LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. And we've literally got a bunch of you hopping in the room right now. As you're coming in, I invite you to introduce yourself in the chat. Tell us who you are and where you're tuning in today from. So I'd love to introduce two of our guests for today's live stream. I'm joined by Chris Cochran. Chris is the co-founder and CEO of Hacker Valley Media, also the creative director and cybersecurity advocate at Axonius. And we also have with us today Rob Lee. Rob is a SANS fellow, as well as the chief curriculum director and faculty lead here at the SANS Institute. I can't get Institute out today. So welcome to you both. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Stephen.
So today we're coming to share some really awesome news, right? We have an amazing cybersecurity award that we want to tell everyone about. We're officially announcing the 2022 Difference Makers Award. And so several months ago, quick story here, Chris approached me and he said, hey, what would it look like if there was a cybersecurity award that did a really good job of highlighting the best and brightest in cybersecurity? And it was sort of, for us by us. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was an amazing idea. And at the same time, we'd had an award within SANS, the SANS Difference Makers Award, going back more than a decade to 2011, where we've acknowledged the work of a few exceptional InfoSec professionals each year. And so in summary, what happened, Chris and Ron ended up in a convo with Kate Marshall and Jen Santiago, and then we pulled in Rob and we started pulling everyone in, and we merged these ideas, right? And so we reimagined the Difference Maker Awards and partnered with Axonius, partnered with Hacker Valley Media and Chris, and we're ready to unleash, right, the best cybersecurity award show ever. And so I went super fast and gave you a quick rundown, right? But let's run it back, right? Chris, I wanted to start with you and ask you, right, before you even approached me about this idea, what was it that you saw that was maybe missing?
Yeah, the thing that I saw that was missing is a lot of times our colleagues, our friends, the folks that are best and brightest in this industry, the only time they really get a little spotlight is when something bad happens. Maybe it's a really critical vulnerability is disclosed. Maybe it's an ongoing campaign that's really big, a big attack. And those are the 15 minutes of fame, the time to shine for a lot of practitioners. And that's great. Proud of every single one of those opportunities that was given to us by bigger media, but that isn't the only thing that's going on in cybersecurity. That isn't the only beautiful thing about the practitioners in the space. And so I thought, what if we had a legitimate award show where we are just focused on the practitioner, the effort and everything that goes into the work that we're doing every single day? Because cybersecurity practitioners, in my opinion, are unsung heroes. We tend to be very silent as long as things are good, but when things go bad is when we step into that limelight. So we want to celebrate all the wins for the entire year to make sure that the hard work and everything, the teamwork, the collaboration really gets noticed inside the community, but outside as well.
Yes. So I love that. Appreciate you sharing that. Rob, let me spin to you. Like, we've had the Difference Makers Award for many years, but tell us a little bit more of the backstory of it and why we haven't really heard about it as much publicly till now.
So the Difference Maker Awards, Alan Poller and John Pescatori have been running this for many years, and it kind of gestated from them going around and talking to a lot of luminaries and those who are working deep inside the field. And they would go personally to a lot of individuals and ask them, one-on-one, saying, hey, who do you know that has made a significant difference in the cybersecurity community that you would recommend that we need to recognize? And can you write something up about them? And, what they would do is have a really small, personal ceremony, usually around in December, at our event in CDI at SANS, and recognize these individuals. It was never a very large event, and it was always intimate. And in that flavor, one of the things that was really hard, to do is, these people would come in, they would receive the award, and they really felt recognized because it was, their peers that recognized them for these, honestly miraculous contributions that many people have never even heard about. And they're all posted on the SANS website. You actually go on SANS and actually do a search for Difference Makers Awards. You actually, will sit back and just shake your head at some of the contributions that these individuals have made over the years. And to that end, with what the SANS Institute stands for, and with the stepping back of John Pescatori this year, and with in honor of Alan Poller, it really is meaningful that we're trying to take this a step further and trying to recognize what the Difference Makers Awards are intended to be, and also expand them to try and make it more community-based, to take a step forward to look at, everyone out there in the community, really deep in your hearts, who are really making a difference out there. And if you're looking at the awards categories that are nominated this year, these are not, just like, who's your, favorite person on the planet. These are people who are really making a difference on a daily basis in the cybersecurity community. And we as a community want to recognize them.
Yeah. So let's talk through maybe, and I'll open it up to either of you. What kind of approach did we look at when it came to the categories and kind of how we would do these awards?
Yeah, I would say that a lot of it came from difference makers from past years. There were some categories there, but we wanted to make sure that we tried to include as much as possible. So everything from podcasts to folks that are writing books to diversity, equity, and inclusion. We wanted to ensure that we were trying to cover our broad bases, but with this being like basically the first iteration of 2.0, we want to see, does this really encapsulate everything that we're trying to celebrate? I'm sure as time goes on, much like if you look at the Oscars, and much if you look at the Emmys, some of those categories are going to change over time. But when we were looking at these, we felt like this was a good representation of the greatness in cybersecurity this year.
Yeah. So did we want to walk through the categories?
Yeah, let's do it.
So I'm looking at, and I could actually probably bring up the page. So I've dropped in the comments the link to the page here. But some of the categories include Innovator of the Year, Mentor of the Year, Podcast or Live Stream of the Year. Let me go ahead and actually bring this up. So I could do something better here, because that's not that's not the best share screen, Stephen. Let's do one better here. Let's try that again.
Well, while you're bringing it up, we could just start talking about them. I mean,
Sure.
So the first one that's on the list, which is I'm actually really happy about to take a look at, it's Innovator of the Year. And, this again is we're trying to recognize those out there in the field that are moving the line forward for cybersecurity, forensics, anything in the field overall. And it's hard. A lot of people think that their contributions, they don't, like how am I going to make this contribution? And you'd be surprised that even a single white paper, a single idea, a single blog, a podcast, or even a movement in some cases make a significant difference. So this Innovator of the Year, I think, is a huge category that anyone could be nominated for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Innovator of the Year. Mentor of the Year, that's something that's near and dear to my heart. Mentors in cybersecurity are one of the most valuable resources that we have. The people that are willing to share the experience, willing to share expertise, willing to share just basically the stories that people have accumulated over their long career. And prevent the younger generation or the newer generation from making the same mistakes again, and basically standing on the shoulders of giants. So being a mentor, there's a lot of mentors out there, and we have to celebrate them.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to a podcast or live stream series of the year. I wonder why.
Yeah. Yeah, I was super curious about that one too. That would be pretty cool to see.
Absolutely.
Article book of the year is always an interesting one too, because that could be across the board. A blog article. A lot of books come out every single year, and it's really hard, to keep up with a lot of different things. And of course, I'm looking at the the diversity champion. This one in particular, is very important, especially in the community today. When you look at cybersecurity. In general, when I entered, it was, just like the military is. Like, you look around and it was almost all dominated by white males. And today, it is, so much diversity that's across the board, and it really makes me happy to see that. And it's come down to a lot of folks out there that are really creating programs and capabilities, to make it very inclusive. And it's a lot of these people need to be recognized for their efforts. And I think this is a way to recognize those efforts and and applaud them. And I'm really thankful that we have this on there.
100%.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time to pull those programs together. It's a lot of effort, and honestly, it's a lot of volunteers that support those programs to make sure that they run. Another category that I feel like doesn't really get enough shine is a researcher of the year. I mean, a lot of times researchers, they're 15 minutes is on the DEF CON stage, or maybe Black Hat or some other conference. They get their applause. People talk about it for a good long while. Some people adopt what they've learned, but largely that's it. And I don't know many researcher of the year awards in cybersecurity, so I'm super excited to see who are the contenders for that one.
And you just brought up a really good point. With Black Hat, DEF CON, even though we're partnering, with SANS, this is not just a SANS thing. This is across the entire community that we're looking for nominations. It doesn't matter where you're at, where you presented. This is really community run across the board, and we're looking for participation from everywhere.
So some really exciting categories. Invite you to hop over to sans.org / difference-makers and see the entire webpage. We have now opened nominations. So nominations are now open. You can hop on over. The link is scrolling the bottom of this page. It's also in the comments on both LinkedIn and YouTube right now. Invite you to hop on over, right, and start submitting those nominations. Nominations are open until Monday, October 24th at noon Eastern. So definitely, start getting those nominations in. I'm interested. I see a number of people commenting on LinkedIn. Invite you to drop any questions you might have. But who are some of the people you're excited to see for some of these awards, right? Definitely, I'm seeing Jen Santiago here in comments. Zanette, Christine, Morenci. Awesome to see you all here. Danilo's joining us from Brazil. Awesome to have you here. So, a couple of things. What happens after this nomination process, Chris?
Yeah, so after the nomination process, then the real work begins. There's going to be 2 ways to really win this award. Each category has a people's choice, which is going to be based on votes from the community. And then the other one is going to be chosen by a committee that SANS pulled together, some of the best and brightest in our area. And that committee is going to help decide which award to give to the folks out there. So a couple ways. You vote, right? Everyone's going to be sharing that link, say, hey, vote for me, which is always cool. It's definitely going to get everyone excited and buzzed about the award show itself. Then we also choose from the committee side. After that, after we know exactly what's going to happen, we're going to have like the event of all events at CDI, like we mentioned. we're really pulling out all the stops. We're also going to afford people the added benefit of contributing to travel. If folks have to travel from somewhere, maybe across the country, in order to get to SANS CDI, SANS was gracious enough to say, like, hey, let's make sure that everyone's able to enjoy if they are a nominee. It's really going to be an event to behold.
Yeah.
So, Rob, Chris just touched on the awards ceremony, but bring me to CDI. What are we to expect from an award ceremony in December?
Well, it's going to be, for anyone who doesn't know where CDI is located, it's actually where a lot of the presidential, this is where the what is it called? The press event is actually held every single year. White House press corps gets together there. A lot of the presidential balls are actually held at the same hotel. It's a really nice location. The way I saw the setup, with the stage and everything, and we're also looking at live streaming this as well for folks to be able to watch online. I'm really excited about this, and being on December 14th, right at the end of the year, it's going to be incredibly special ceremony for everyone who's going to be in attendance. And we hope all those who are going to be nominated will be able to make it out and be able to celebrate with us for all the achievements of all the nominees, for those who end up winning the awards at the end of the year. So it's something that, we're changing, and we're looking for really making a spectacular event in the end.
Yeah. And there's so much that, Daryl made a comment about Alan's legacy. I don't know if you want to touch on kind of the backstory. And, Alan Pollard is our founder, for those unfamiliar. And this is one of his favorite events. And I know you're doing quite a bit as we look at, to CDI and kind of the year memorial since his passing. You want to speak to kind of his legacy and how this also fits in?
Well, of course, Alan and his vision for, what SANS, does and stands for, and trying to, give back to the community and really trying to move cybersecurity forward as a whole. I mean, the entire idea behind the difference makers is, a part of that legacy. Alan, in his contributions, across the board for summits and, overall cybersecurity training, and a lot of the programs that he started, from teaching all the way down to high school kids, all the way up to practitioners that many of us who started in the field, including myself, almost everything we have done to Alan Pollard, and, a lot of his vision. A part of that, CDI in a lot of these conferences basically came out of, him saying, let's bring practitioners together and start small training events. And CDI was one of those. CDI stands for Cyber Defense Initiative, now basically been collapsed into CDI, what everyone calls it. But I look at it, and, we always try to honor that concept, that idea behind what he stood for, not in a sad way, but in a very, looking forward, and in a way that, will respect what he was trying to strive for, and, toward the future legacy of what, we're going to consistently try to achieve with SANS in his name.
100%. Love that. Anything else that you guys wanted to share? I didn't think that we needed an hour-long live stream. I just really wanted, we all three of us have been talking about this with a number of other folks in the background. By the way, this isn't just the three of us. There's a massive squad of people, and I don't want to forget anyone's name. So, big ups to everybody working behind the scenes right now to make this happen.
Yeah,
we have an amazing advisory board. And just so many amazing people that are working behind the scenes to see this through to the finish line. So thank you to all of you. And the three of us just wanted to come on here and kind of share it with, share this announcement, and encourage you guys to help us spread the word and get people nominated that are deserving of each of these categories listed. So I just wanted to open that up, right? And anything else that you guys wanted to share as we get set to close up?
Yeah, the only thing I would say is that we're beyond excited about all of this. We're excited for you to share. We're excited for you to nominate. We want to see who's out there in this community that we need to celebrate. I'd say it's about time we make some noise for cybersecurity. So let's go.
Yes. Love it.
I'm particularly excited about it as well. This is special to me in many ways. The Difference Makers has always been one of these awards that I've always wanted to, step up a notch, to make it bigger, to get a little bit more shine on it, so people could recognize really what it's all about, because it really is, in the name, difference makers. And when you think about that and you take a step back and you think about everyone that out there in the community that is, working on a daily basis at this, it doesn't need to be someone who is, trending on Twitter. It does not need to be someone who is out there giving a lot of talks at Black Hat or DEF CON. And, I'm really hoping a lot of you out there will recognize those individuals and put them in for a nomination. And that's one of the reasons why we have the committee set up the way it is, so we could recognize the individuals that are the unsung heroes, the unsung difference makers, because it is the individual contributors, the individual difference makers that are truly making a difference out there in the community. And that's why this particular award was set up the way it was, is that if you go back to the list, I will guarantee most of the names, most of you have not heard of before. It's not a list of the most popular Twitter handles in cybersecurity. It is those who've significantly made a difference in the community overall over all these years. So I'm really excited to see where this is going to go.
Love it. Well, listen, thank you both very much for taking time out of your busy days. Appreciate you both being here with me.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. So definitely everybody hop on over to sans.org/difference-makers and get your nominations in. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Cheers.